Hello everyone, Steve Blair 2010 here with episode 6 of Tea Time with Steve. This episode's featured tea is Ireland Mango and Peach. It's a white tea. It's from Lipton. It's really good. It has a stronger flavor than an aroma. It's one of my favorite teas. It's available at all grocery stores, like Walmart. See, it's from Lipton. It's really good. And anyway, this episode is going to be about poetry. I figured that was fitting, seeing as though the last episode was about music, which is rhythmic poetry. We'll go on to spoken word. Poetry is really important to me as an emotionally driven person. I'm not one of those people that likes to bottle up their emotions. I like to feel ways about things, I'm one of those people that feels like real men cry, Stop bottling up your emotions. That's the way I feel. Anyway, the kind of poetry that speaks to me the most is sad poetry. And it's not like a intense sting from a major heartbreak. It's something like just like a dull kind of burn from loneliness or hopelessness. That's the kind of emotion I like to be conveyed in the poetry that I listen to or read, I suppose. And I think the reason may be is because I had a really lonely and depressed past. And so it's kind of a way to vent and get rid of those emotions from my past. Beyond that, I couldn't really tell you the reason that it speaks to me so much. It just does. Poetry for me doesn't have to have a rhyme scheme. It doesn't have to be, set up a certain way. My favorite kind of poetry is freeform poetry, where someone is just kind of talking about something that's really deep and meaningful. It doesn't necessarily have to have a rhyme scheme, like I said. Now, there's nothing against, let me put it this way, I don't have anything against poetry that has a rhyme scheme. I enjoy it, but I enjoy listening to just hearing someone saying their thoughts a little bit more. Something I just thought about, it's kind of weird. I don't really do much in the way of writing poetry, but I do read and listen to poetry, like on YouTube or on the internet. Every once in a while I'll look up poetry, not very often though. I probably should start looking stuff up like that more often. Maybe I'd have a little bit more to say about it. You'll probably notice there's a lot of cuts in this video. It's because I'm having a hard time thinking of stuff to say, but this is something that's important to me, so I want to talk about it. I will be putting a link in the description of a great poem that I listened to that it didn't make me cry. It kind of, the best way I can describe it is froze my mind. It made me emotionally, kind of mentally paralyzed. My thoughts were racing, but I couldn't process a single thought that was going through my head. I was just left staring at the screen for like a good 5 minutes after the first time I heard it. So I'll put that in the description. It's right here on YouTube, so... that's the kind of thing that I like to get from poetry the most. It's not necessarily to make me full-on cry, it's to have that kind of feeling of like, there's something there, but I can't quite place my finger on it. That is awesome to me. Again, I apologize for all these random cuts here and there. It's just there's so many long pauses for me trying to figure out something to say. Thinking about this, what kind of poetry speaks to me most, made me think, why is it that every once in a while we just need to feel that way? We need to feel sad every now and then. We need sometimes to have a good cry. It's just kind of weird. It's like you'd think we'd want to be happy all the time, but every once in a while we need to have some sad times. I guess it's because to be truly emotionally fulfilled, you need to feel the whole spectrum of emotion, not just the good ones. Because you gotta have your valleys to appreciate your peaks, I guess is the best way to put it. So that's why every once in a while I like to, say if I'm on 4chan, find a Ba thread, or there's actually a site called babot.com that actually a friend of mine, Dan, linked me to, that I look at every now and then if I need to feel sad, if you need to feel ways about things, because there's really, I don't know much about poetry, so when I'm looking to feel sad, most of the time I go to these Ba kind of things, because, again, I don't know the names of many poets. I don't really know much about poetry, I guess is what you could say, so I really don't have many means to look up poetry on the internet, because, again, I don't know much, so it's probably why I'm having such a problem with this episode. If I knew the names of different poets and stuff, I could be talking about them, but I don't know. I don't know, if you have a favorite poet or a favorite poem or whatever, be it freeform or rhyme scheme, doesn't really matter. Just go ahead and give me a link in the comments or personal message me, it doesn't really matter. Any poetry that you share with me will be greatly appreciated. It can even be happy, I really don't care, it doesn't have to be sad. I just want to see the kind of feels that you like to have. You know, not just me. It's not all about me, it's about you guys too. In fact, that's why I'm doing this, is for you guys. And you know, my love for freeform poetry could be why I love just talking to you guys about the things that are important to me, you know? Because that's all like freeform poetry is just someone talking about something that's important to them, so maybe that's why I enjoy doing these kind of shows so much. You know, it's my kind of way of, I wouldn't say expressing myself, but I think you know what I mean. You know, something else that's really important to me and that I love is philosophy. I really like to see both poetry and philosophy combined into one, which is, I think that's why I'm so proud of my video, Poetic Philosophy on the Mind, which I'll also put in the description if you haven't seen it. I don't know what it is about philosophy. I guess it's because it can also be really deep in your mind, you know, because I like to spend a lot of time in my head and really thinking deeply about things, be it emotionally or just philosophy-based. And again, that's why I think I love most about that Poetic Philosophy on the Mind I have. It's both deep in terms of thought about a philosophy about something, but it's also kind of emotionally driven. If you just have to listen to it to understand what I mean, but it is just amazing when you can combine both philosophy and poetry into one. It's kind of like a left-right, you know, kind of... I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what I mean. It's a double whammy. Really, it's hard to say what kind of things drive different emotions in people, because people can see the same thing and react different ways to it. I guess it all has to do with personal experience, the way you react emotionally to different things like poetry or philosophy or even just life experience. I guess you could say it's not even necessarily just poetry or just philosophy that I like so much. I like emotions. I like to be able to feel ways about things. I like to have feels. Lots of them. Good feels, bad feels, I know that feel, bro. I'm sorry about that, I apologize. I don't know, I guess I just get excited when I talk about things that are so deep and emotionally and mentally just awesome. It's just awesome to me is basically what I'm trying to say. I love poetry. That's the gist of this. I love poetry. There you go. I love poetry. That's it. Cut, print, gay. I don't know. This is going to be really, really difficult to edit. Because there's so many weird pauses and stuff I gotta cut out, and a few things that I don't want said in the video that I said because I'm a moron. Whatever. You'll probably see it in an outtakes video that I do sometime anyway. So either way, you're gonna end up seeing it. No doubt about it. Despite how important poetry is to me, I'm pretty sure I'm out of stuff to say, so... if I come up with more, I'll certainly come back later to keep filming, but if not, I'll see you next time I have an idea.